Welcome to another episode of the Chess4Life Spotlight, where we meet amazing individuals from around the world, discovering their connections with chess and using chess to positively impact the world. I'm your host, Elliott Neff, National Master, founder of Chess4Life, and author of A Pawn's Journey, Transforming Lives One Move at a Time. With me today is another guest, special friend, strong chess player, Josh Sinanan, FIDE master, one who has dedicated so much of his life already to transforming thousands and thousands of kids' lives locally, and now even serving nationally with the USCF Scholastic Council and the groups there. So I'm very excited to jump in and learn a lot more from our guest, Josh. Welcome to the Spotlight.
Thanks, Elliott. Thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely. What a pleasure to do that. And as we like to do, before we jump into all these amazing things, let's touch base a sec and let our audience get to know you a bit. If you don't mind just sharing, where you come from, what you've been, doing in the past, and what you're working on today that excites you.
Absolutely. So I grew up in Seattle here, in the Ravenna area. Attended elementary and middle school, high school here. I went to college in California, studied engineering, ultimately chose to pursue chess though, which was my passion and sort of what I felt was my calling. I have one younger brother. He lives in New York and he's an artist. So he's the kind of the creative, social type. I'm more of a introverted type, with I would say I'm maybe more analytical. He's maybe more outgoing and creative in some ways, but through chess I think I've also become more outgoing as well and more extroverted. So now I still live in Seattle and I'm involved with several organizations that help promote chess locally and nationally. As a day job, I'm a chess coach. I teach chess in about 9 to 10 schools in the greater Seattle area. But I keep busy with nonprofit activities as well, through Washington Chess Federation and Chess Enrichment Association. A couple of others I'm also involved with. It would be the Chessmates Foundation, Northwest Chess, which produces a magazine that chronicles chess in the Northwest, and as well as a few others. So I'm living my passion, and I'm really enjoying it.
Well, that's awesome, Josh, sharing that you're living your passion. And you said that you went to college and you studied engineering. Yeah. And yet pursued your dream or your passion of chess. Can you share a little bit of your chess journey to, when did you learn to play? How far did you progress? And what led to your discovering that was really where you wanted to dedicate your life?
Absolutely. So I picked up chess in high school, actually. I didn't really play when I was a kid. I probably learned how to play when I was about 7. I used to play against my dad on the airplane during vacations and things like that, help pass the time. I got serious about it in high school, though, and there was a player on my high school team. I went to Edmonds Woodway, and he was about a 1900 level player, one of the top in the state at the time. That used to be a really top rating back then. And he kind of took me under his wing and showed me a few openings. I learned the London system and the French defense from him. And from there, I joined the Internet Chess Club, which was kind of the primary outlet at the time that you could learn chess online. And I never actually had a coach, but I was self-taught, and I watched lots of videos and played many games of speed chess, watched other strong players play, and I tried to learn by sort of mimicking what they did during that time. And I was like a sponge. I just absorbed everything I could about the game, got a couple of chess books. I think the first book I read was probably Chess Strategy um, by Edward Lasker. I also read My System and a couple of other classics. Capablanca's Best Games was one of my favorite. So I kind of was self-taught, and throughout high school, I quickly became, a pretty strong player. I went from about beginner all the way to maybe about 18 or 1900 level in the years I was in high school. I took a break from playing during college, but I would still play on breaks and play locally when I was around the Washington area. And I eventually became a master in 2007. I think it was during one of the Washington Chess Federation tournaments, maybe the Washington Open. And it was right around that time that when I was trying to think of what I wanted to do career-wise, that I thought, well, I really enjoy this game of chess, and I also enjoy teaching. Teaching was one of my first side jobs when I was in high school. I did some math tutoring, and I realized that I had a natural talent for teaching. So I thought, well, chess, teaching, this might go hand in hand. My parents were at first skeptical about the thought of doing this for a living. They thought I should pursue a more traditional career, maybe go into engineering or medicine. My dad, for example, is a physician. And but I said, I was pretty adamant. I said, no, I think this is what I want to do, and I think I'm going to make it work. And I was introduced to some local chess coaches, Georgi Orlov and Elena Donaldson. They were a strong chess couple. I still work with Orlov. Sadly, Elena passed away in 2012. But they had a chess organization, and I was introduced to them through a mutual friend, Dan Matthews, who Elliott, of course, knows. Yep. And I started coaching chess in some schools. I started very small, just, with one or two private students and a couple of schools. And pretty soon it blossomed into a full teaching career. So that's where I am today now.
Wow, that's awesome, Josh. And thank you for sharing that. And for those listening who might be new to the chess competition and chess world, when Josh is talking about ratings in chess, that's the number, the point system based upon competing in tournaments. And you go up when you win, you go down when you lose games, or like we like to say at Chess4Life, you learn games, win, draw, or learn. It's a mindset, right? You need to be not afraid of failure in order to get better and embrace that. And then Josh, moving on to the master level, he shared in 2007, achieving that is a very high level. In chess play, to my understanding, there's only a few thousand total masters in North America. And that number will fluctuate, of course, a little bit as people go up and down and as people come in and achieve it. But that is a very high level. So speaking of level in chess, let's take a moment here, because your passion is using chess and impacting lives. Could you share one or two stories of how you've seen chess impact lives of students you've worked with? Just one or two that come to mind.
Absolutely. I've worked with many students who have started out very shy and introverted, and through their study and playing of chess, I've seen them come out of their shell. And this has been both, in chess classes and also through private coaching. And I've really seen students blossom over the course of their elementary, middle, and high school careers and become much more outgoing. And a lot of it, I think, was due to their chess activity, traveling to tournaments, making friends, establishing long-term relationships through the game of chess. And it's really it's an equalizer, right? It's a common thread that many of us share, our passion for the game. And chess it connects people. It makes everybody more comfortable to be in each other's company when there's a common activity like chess that everybody can relate to.
Very cool.
So that's what I've noticed.
Yeah, awesome. And what you mentioned there, right? I find it fascinating that you and some others that we've interviewed, when we're talking about benefits of chess, so many times non-chess playing side, and there's natural benefits to the game, and you think of critical thinking skills, and you think of problem solving, and you think of strategy and planning. Yet what I hear so much of is the social side of it, right? Here, helping kids who are really shy to come out of that shell and interact with others and feel safe in an environment to do that, to build community and friends together through this common game. And you used a term that I would like to unpack just a little bit further. You mentioned how chess is a great equalizer in terms of opportunity. Can you dig into that a little bit further, what you mean by that?
Well, in chess, everyone is treated equally, right? It doesn't matter your background, your what social class you come from, or your where you were born or where you currently live. It's a universal language, and anybody can become good at chess through hard work and proper study and discipline, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you, right? It's wanting to dig into that, because I've noticed similar things, and I'll just share that right now. Is, many times there's this element of, if you're tall, go play basketball, right? If you're big, go play football. If you're X, Y physical capabilities, and then so many can feel left out. And yet, like you said, as an equalizer, the chessboard is a level playing field. Doesn't matter your speed, your height, your language. It doesn't matter your background. We're sitting down as equals at this board, and we can persevere and get better. We can win, draw, learn. So I love that. In fact, it brings back memories of playing a gentleman who was from another country where we did not know any of each other's language. He knew nothing about English. I knew nothing about his language. Yet we felt that we became friends by playing this chess game against each other, and then considering moves that we could do to improve just by gestures, right? And we had this connection. So that chess was, in essence, the language that we both spoke.
Absolutely.
So it's amazing that way. So we jumped.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Many of my best friends actually have come through chess. And I the first time I ever probably met them was when I was playing against them over the board. And after the game, I oftentimes want to analyze the game with them. And through talking with people, you become friends after you play a game of chess with them. It's a shared experience that you've both just devoted this chunk of time, and you have this common thing that you just did. You played this chess game. So you can then build on that, and you often discover that you have a lot in common with the other person. And some of my best friends now are friends I've met through the game of chess.
That's really, really cool. So, we've talked a little bit about the benefits of chess and those elements. And what I would like to do is to dig a little bit further into some of the mindsets of the game. So you've talked about, the social benefits of it. At Chess4Life, we're really strong about chess as a vehicle for developing these mindsets of success, from win, draw, or learn, we already talked about, to things like the can-do attitude, where someone who's thinks they can't, many times out of fear of failure, won't even try. Whereas a person who has a can-do mindset of, if I think I can, I'm going to go for it. And many times I can achieve, in worst case, I will learn from it. And they will strive to achieve things that others won't, and therefore achieve more, right? To that better together, where we talk about the different pieces work together on the chessboard, and in life, the different abilities of individuals work together. So we have all these different, life principles and such. I've shared that list. You're aware of some of these with us. Which one or two come to your mind as some of the chief benefits of chess as a social benefit vehicle?
Well, I think chess helps you look on the bright side and become more of an optimist, even if you're naturally maybe more of a pessimist.
Hmm.
So for me, it's always improve, the can-do attitude that really those are the ones that really stick out. Um, if you're in a difficult position, you say, all right, well, what are the things that I like about my position? What can I build on? How can I make those better? And also just not getting bogged down by the negatives of your position. You might have something that's not so great, but you can just try to think about, all right, well, how can I make that better? How can I fix that? And you can then apply those skills to other things outside of chess, always trying to improve, the situation around you. If you see something that needs to be done, just go ahead and help improve that situation. Even if it's not your responsibility, you can still do it and help make everybody's situation better. So I think chess helps teach us how to improve and make everybody else feel more, feel like they're in an improved position just by being around you, right? A positive, you send out a positive vibe when you're in the room, and that then other people in turn notice that, and they become in a better mood as well, just by being around someone who's sending out a positive vibe in that way.
Yeah, it's infectious in a good way.
Yeah,
right.
That's right.
And something you said there too. Also, I've experienced that same thing, which I hadn't thought about it this way though. And then the way you said it was beautiful. This feeling that in a chess game, right, you have opportunity. You can always get better. You might make a blunder. You might make mistakes. We all do. But the mindset that we develop through playing this game is to look for the possibilities. And how many times in a game or in a position or in sports or wherever it is, it's the psychology of success. It's the growth mindset. It's the opportunity you're looking for. And so many times I've seen this in games of chess. I've seen it in other areas of life. If a person, again, doesn't see possibility, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Whereas if a person goes, I don't care how difficult it is, I'm going to look for what is good here, what I can do, and then take action. And that dramatically improves things. And you're right, it's infectious, right? It pulls along others when you have this mindset. So thank you for sharing that. Now, a little bit more on the personal side. So you've invested a lot of your life in chess.
Yeah.
Outside of chess, do you have any other hobbies or activities that you enjoy doing? What's like your favorite hobby or sport or things like this that you would be open to sharing?
Sure. Well, when I was a kid, I actually was quite into martial arts. I have a third-degree black belt in Taekwondo, but I'm way out of practice, and I need to get back into the dojo or the studio. I also like tennis. Tennis is probably my favorite sport now, both to play and also to watch and follow.
Yep.
My tennis racket is somewhere, and it's probably in a closet. But yeah, sports wise, I would say those are probably my two favorite ones. I also enjoy other games I enjoy other board games. Primarily games where skill is the factor, not luck. I'm not a huge Monopoly fan, for example. Yep. I'd enjoy things like Scrabble and some other card games. So yeah, chess is probably my main hobby, but I have some things outside of chess that I like to pursue in my free time when I do get a chance to get outside and take a break from chess duties.
Right, exactly. And you've also shared that you love making a difference, right? You have volunteered so much of your time, from being the current president of Chess Enrichment Association, a nonprofit dedicated to making the benefits of chess accessible to students throughout the Northwest, to your work as, I believe it was president of Northwest Chess itself, right? Another organization, to working with the Chessmates Foundation, working to help a lot of youth, again, who don't have the means necessarily to get the benefits, to even working with, the national US Chess Federation on a national level, influencing the work done to make the benefits of chess better and more accessible nationally. Can you dig into one or more of these and just share a little bit more of how these organizations and what the work you're doing is doing to impact society?
Absolutely. So I've written down a few initiatives that I have, some goals, initiatives that I've been working through these various organizations. The first one is helping to make chess more mainstream
Hmm.
um, through the media, ground influence. You may have heard of the recently opened Detective Cookie Chess Park in South Seattle, and that had a huge media presence. We
Yeah.
need to build on that. We need to get chess being talked about by everyone, not just the chess players. Another one is reaching and empowering even more groups that still remain largely outside of our core demographic, right?
Nice.
There's regions and groups that we haven't reached yet.
So I want to just interrupt you there a sec,
Yeah.
because you mentioned so quickly Detective Cookie and this chess club in Seattle. Everybody, if we can post a link in the notes here, you'll want to check this out. An amazing story, and hopefully we can have her on the show at some point here with the work that she's done as a police officer who has invested many years, well over a decade, using the game of chess to reach the community, to help youth make good choices that don't end up in wrong situations and bad consequences. And it's just amazing what she's done, to the point that there's an actual chess park named after her with amazing chess tables, and the whole community has come around it. It's amazing to see, and that just opened recently. So thanks for mentioning that one. And then, you mentioned this next one of groups that may not have access yet, that your goal is to impact. And so please pick it up again there, but I wanted to add that pin for our
Absolutely.
audience listening to just check that out. Detective Cookie.
Yes. We'll make sure to include a link to her chess park, and she's someone I've partnered with also to help. She helps in our tournaments. She's the crowd control person. She's just does an amazing job.
Yep.
And in return, we help provide scholarships for her students to play, make chess more accessible for them. Um, Another one is finding and nurturing relationships with long-term financial supporters for our sport, especially locally.
Yep.
Of course, we'd like to get some corporate sponsorship involved with chess, especially in scholastic chess.
Yep.
And this could be a game changer. I know Elliott's been working on this from his end as well. I'd like to see our state tournament, be a few thousand rather than 1,000, and maybe hosted at a huge venue that right now is just outside of our boundaries. Another one, finding stable and sustainable venues to hold mid-size events. As things have reopened post-COVID, we're finding it more challenging to book events at affordable sites. That's one thing we're also tackling. Training more tournament directors to host more local and regional events. This is all in an effort to help build up chess from the ground up. Attracting more high-profile figures to visit the Northwest to help regularly and consistently spark interest and excitement about chess in our local communities.
Yep.
And PNWCC has done a great job with this.
Absolutely. And you know what? While we're on that note, I want to also add for our audience listening about, okay, sounds a lot of chess, and we're trying to do chess and why chess, right? And we've talked about some benefits, and it's incredible when you look at how chess can help these people, especially youth, right, develop skills that can really be transferable skills, and some of that work that brings them to learn how to problem solve and work together, and therefore lay a foundation for success that can lead into many STEM careers, can be a path upwards for many youth. And it's amazing to see the support that has already been coming from, Seahawks football players like KJ Wright, who see the value of chess and support the community that way, to so many others, from well-known names in sports to individuals in business to organizations like Amazon and others sponsoring and supporting chess because it's helping grow opportunity for youth who can then move into even amazing career opportunities through some of the skills and connections they've developed. So I love that vision to bring even more high profile, visible names to promote the benefits. And I've gone off on this tangent, but I'll just finish it. Yeah. With our mission and with what you're doing, can you imagine a day when every kid has the opportunity to get these benefits from the game of chess? And it doesn't matter where they come from, right? Doesn't matter race, color, education, social status, background, that equalization. What a great potential future. So back to you. You've got so many initiatives and you were going through just some of your goals. Are there some additional ones you want to add to our conversation here?
Yeah, there's one other one, coordinating between the many providers of events, classes, camps locally. Currently, we have a sort of a fragmented fabric of different chess providers and organizers, but I'd like to try to help unify that and get everybody working together, because I think that's ultimately how we're going to grow chess the most, is for all these different sectors of the chess world to start working together more, that being locally, nationally with the US Chess Federation, and also even globally with FIDE, on the world level. I'm excited to be a new member of the Scholastic Council. Elliott was previously serving before me, and these are some of the things we're dealing with there too. Are how do we raise the awareness and the interest in chess coming out of the pandemic, and we're trying to get our numbers back up to where they were before, and even grow them beyond that. So it's a tough time for chess, but we see a lot of potential in the future, and at least locally, and many of the tournaments we've seen a large turnout and a lot of interest for chess. Many kids have been learning it online these past few years, and they're just starting now to get to the playing it over the board. For me, the biggest skill that chess really teaches kids is the skill of executive decision making. It's really the only tool that I can see that teaches that skill. And it's so valuable because these kids are going to be the future leaders of our society, right? They'll go on to become leaders in their fields and their careers. Okay, many of them will not become professional chess players and grandmasters, but maybe a few of them will. And it's so exciting to see, the skills that they can help develop through the game of chess. But for me, it's really the executive decision making that takes the cake, because there's just no other tool like chess that teaches that.
That's really awesome, Josh, that you see that vision, right? And you're obviously passionate about accomplishing that. Let me ask this again, for let's say there's a parent or an educator listening to this and hearing about these benefits. You're a master level player, so am I, so have many others. You talk about these benefits. How much chess or what level of chess does it take to reap some of these benefits? What's your perspective on that? Do you have to be a master to say, I've now gained these benefits?
Well, very few actually become masters, as Elliott and I know. We're both chess masters ourselves. But really, any level of player and any experience can reap the benefits of chess. And I think it especially helps the players who even are just maybe more recreational, but they play chess and they practice it occasionally, and they develop these tools through the study and the practice of the game. The ones who become more serious about it and ultimately move up through the ranks and maybe head with the goal of becoming a chess master level player, they're more focused on the theory side and learning many patterns in chess, but the skills that you acquire through the game and studying it and playing it, those are indispensable, and um, those can be acquired by anybody, even a novice level player, even a someone who maybe doesn't even make it above, say, an 800 level rating can, I think, reap all the benefits from chess.
Awesome. Thank you, Josh. And that's been my experience the same, right? I've seen so many youth who at whatever level they engage with start immediately developing some of those skills. And in fact, the one of focus and patience is one of those elements you develop even at a preschool level, and impulse control as you work with someone else and be patient to look for a good move. And like we like to say is to students, once you see a good move, stop, look for a better move, and you start doing those decisions you're talking about of evaluating choices and what's the potential outcomes of those choices. So what a beauty that is. Well, as our time gets low here, just a couple more quick questions wanted to ask you. What I hear from you is strategic approach to your investment of your life, because you talk about these initiatives, about taking steps, and these are not overnight choices. So I see you applying that in your life. Is there something you could share that is like a big bucket, big accomplishment item that you would love to see achieved, whether it's a 10 years from now, a 3 years, a lifetime? What's like a pinnacle achievement that you would like to achieve? It doesn't even have to be chess, but just what do you see as a key area you would like to achieve?
For me, it's the growth of scholastic chess. That's really my main focus and passion. I'd like to see I'd like to see the number of kids playing chess continue to grow, and eventually, I'd like to see chess as a subject offered in schools, not as something treated as like just an after school activity or an enrichment activity, but actually part of the curriculum.
Mhm.
Because I feel like in many places, some European countries, for example, they've already done this. Armenia, Hungary, for example, and I think ultimately that's how the most kids are going to get the benefits of chess, is if it's actually built into the curriculum.
Mhm.
So that's one of my big bucket list items, to eventually work with educators to see if we can get chess offered at some schools, maybe even just starting very small with 1 or 2 schools. And of course, continuing to grow chess to, I'd like to see, the number of scholastic chess players double, triple, even quadruple in the next few years. I think now is a great time to keep growing it because of the momentum that we have
Mhm.
as we transition back to over the board play.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you, Josh, so much for joining me. And I do want to remind our listeners, be sure to like, subscribe so that you don't miss out on some of the amazing stories that are coming this way from both locally and globally. And so as we wrap up here, Josh, one final question. Knowing what you know now, what kind of advice would you give to your younger self from some time ago? And you can pick when, whether it's high school or college. And what would you say to yourself if you could go back in time?
I could go back in time. I would say, don't be afraid to be angular. Pursue what you really are interested in, and don't worry too much about the so-called well-rounded approach of dabbling in a little bit of everything.
Mhm.
Choose, find what it is that you like to do, and just go for it. And don't look back.
That's
Um,
awesome.
I wish I had done that earlier.
But whatever the time is, you can still do that, right? And you
Absolutely.
made that choice. What beautiful advice, though, right? In order to pursue your passion, pursue your skill set, your interests, and go deep with that to achieve. Thank you for sharing that, Josh. Thank you once again for joining the Chess for Life Spotlight, and would love to, highlight some of the work that you're doing If you have a favorite chess game, because you're a master level player, some ones that come to mind, would love to have you share those. And, we can link those in the notes and comments on our blog and on our podcast and on YouTube. So thank you once again. Keep up the great work. Awesome having you.
Thanks, Elliott. It's been a pleasure being on the show. Thanks for having me.